All right, let's just run down a checklist of things. Piss-filled humidifier, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's WrestleMania fog machine, gone.
Wait, do you guys want the piss-filled humidifier to come back?
No. Let's stay on this topic, okay?
Okay.
We're trying to figure out where this mist is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, was that a yay or nay on the...
Huh?
Your fog machine.
Where are
Is it-
you?
Turn around.
Ah!
I'm right here. Fucking pay attention. I've been too lax. I've been too fucking lax around here.
It's kind of cool.
Feel like I'm at a Cypress Hill concert right now.
Well, that was the next thing I was going to ask. Is the Undertaker due to make an appearance here?
Oh, is he?
Wish. This got excited.
If Fred Durst comes and starts performing Rollin',
I hope I get choke slammed.
it seemed like it has blue balls if he shows up and doesn't choke slam one of us. God,
Fred Durst?
God, I hope it's you. I hope Undertaker choke slams Kron, and I hope Fred Durst choke slams you for making us watch The Fanatic.
That means you're getting the Tombstone pile driver.
I got so many questions for Fred
That's
Durst.
fine. That's less distance that my head has to travel.
It's like the two most famous people that would ever come in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Kim Hinkle's come in here a few times.
Why does it stink? Is it the...
That's why I thought it was the piss-filled humidifiers.
Yeah. It's kinda
Okay.
weird.
Okay, thanks for getting us back on topic about the mist.
We've mentioned it twice now. I'm going to bring it back from my garage. I'll bring it back into the store.
Brewster's
I've been
fucking
using it.
garage.
I live in
Jesus
that
Christ.
garage, dude.
You still got one.
So, if this continues on for like 2 more days, you guys want me to kill you?
Now I think you're behind this. Are you trying to curse us or something? Are you trying to find an excuse to kill us?
No, I'm just asking, it's, I've
You might
seen the
have a
movie.
tough time because you keep losing us in this mist.
Yeah.
You
You
seem to be
couldn't
the
find.
most
We were standing
ill-prepared.
next to each other, and you couldn't find us.
I don't think. I'm over here by the candy. Oh, shit.
Turn around again.
Oh, shit.
Do you think
This is kind of cool.
it's big bugs outside?
Oh, you're thinking the mist situation.
Exactamundo.
Okay. Dibs on the gun.
Dibs on getting to run out first.
What are we? You talking about Starship Trooper? What?
No,
No.
I'm talking about blowing my brains out right before the National Guard gets here. That's what I have dibs on.
Yeah, that's what I said. Do you want me to kill you guys? I'm Jane.
No, I want the bugs to get me, and Bones wants to take himself out.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Let me get something right.
Was it bugs?
It might be bugs.
I think it's bugs.
If we said it's not the one thing that we're not going to mention because Dickhead over here is going to bring it back in.
I already wrote
It's
it
not
down.
the
to bring
fog
it back
machine.
in.
It's not the Undertaker.
We do have fleas here.
Oh, you think they're fumigating?
Ah.
Oh, shit. This is not the first time this has happened.
Oh,
This week on 5-Day Rentals, Valhalla Rising. Hello and welcome to 5-Day Rentals, the video store podcast. My name is Bones. It is time to kick off a brand new spanking hardcore fuck your mother Death Eater category. That's right. Metal as hell. I'm joined as always. Kron Howard, Laundry Dan. How are my dudes that now I know why they're always trying to get me to do shrooms in the forest with them?
So you're going to do shrooms.
Not with you.
I put them on your sandwich.
Because now I know why. You're always picking muddy spots and asking me to wear loose clothes.
I put them on your sandwich. You're already on this journey, dude.
You think it'll cancel out the buzz from the fumigation though?
I told you were eating a shit sandwich, and that's why it tasted so bad.
Shame on me for
actually
continuing to eat the shit sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're totally fucked if we ever go into this situation. You're the dude that's going to be tied to the pole.
Me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I could kill? I'd have a chance?
I don't know. I think you got the size. We'd have to see.
Yeah, you're biggest. We'd have to.
You don't think I got the skills?
We'd have to handicap you somehow.
We'll see. I might change my bet halfway through.
Guys, we're talking Valhalla Rising this week on the show. Thank you for indulging me. This was definitely, I'd say, a first watch. This was something that I happened to watch a week before I picked it. I think we confirmed last week, first watch for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
How was it?
Yeah, you're lucky we had season 2 rules here. That wouldn't have been allowed in season 1.
Oh, yeah, like nobody tweaked their categories in season 1.
No.
Not me.
Okay.
It's all God's natural order.
Okay, let me ask the question again. Kron, you're a big fan of Drive.
Yeah.
How was it going into this?
I do love Drive, and I'm always excited to watch a winding refn. I think that's how you say it. That's how I'm going to say it.
Winding?
I say it as winding refn. I don't know how you're supposed to say it.
Okay.
Winding.
I'm guaranteed to say winding.
It's winding.
Okay.
It might be. I don't know. I'm always excited to see one of his movies that I've not seen before. And I'm almost always like, man, maybe this guy just got lucky with Drive. Like maybe he just fell ass backwards into a good movie. Not to like, and I don't hate any of his movies, but Drive to me is like in a whole other league besides like Bronson, Only God Forgives. I don't know what it is, but like none of those are bad, but they just don't hit the same way for me as Drive does.
I got the sense that a lot of this episode was going to be, and it's a natural thing to do, right? To compare the work of a director, right? Like inside of that, I thought I would not be surprised if we all have different rankings of where we, sort of rank this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dan,
Probably.
big Bronson fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Bronson. I like Drive. I am a fan of the Neon Demon as well. Me and Kron watched that together.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What?
Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee.
God damn it.
First watch for me, yes.
Yeah, I will be the guy
been on my
fucking
list.
wrapped to the fucking pole.
Odd point.
You guys would be nice and warm, making money off my ass.
Yeah,
I'll be the
people
guy that
gotta-
gives you the weird, like water food stuff.
People got to pay 10, whatever currency they got to fight you.
Probably some, I don't know, not a shilling. Would it be a shilling yet?
I don't know. A shekel? Is that it's like an old currency, right?
I don't think you're allowed to say that word.
Are you not? Is that a bad word?
It might be.
I think it was just rocks. We
All
didn't
right,
really see what they gave them.
Let's bleep it if it
Would
is.
it be? Would it be like, what is it? Roman coin? Because we do see a Roman, right? One of these guys, I get the sense, is supposed to be.
I think the Vikings would have
Christian
had,
currency.
had their own currency, right?
Death.
Glory and battle.
Yeah. I think, we've got hundreds, 50s, 20s. I think it's like death, rape, pillage.
A shekel is an ancient Mesopotamian coin, usually made out of silver.
Careful, dude.
The way I used it is not
I know,
offensive.
but now you're talking about the Middle East and stuff, dude. We cannot.
Mesopotamia.
Come
you
on.
fucking give me the creeps. You fucking give me the creeps.
Blacklight burns.
Yeah. Shout out to our buddy Wes Borland. Yeah. No, that's not true. Yet.
Dan's goal. Dan's singular podcast goal. Become friends with Wes Borland.
Oh, I'm shooting for Joe Rogan. So we can
I
kick
want
him
it.
off like
I
5
would
minutes
not
in.
want to even spend
This-
an afternoon with him.
You think
No,
Rogan has seen this? He could get 8 hours of podcasting out of this movie.
Here's the thing. We get Rogan. We kick him off in 10 minutes. And then we're the show that kicked Rogan off. And dollar bills falling from the sky, gentlemen. Big thunder about to come, by the way.
From what? From the liberal media? Bunch of wussies.
You guys hear that?
What?
No.
Big thunder. It's raining. It's thundering and lightning over here, bro. We're in Viking mode.
Yeah. Odin guides you well through this episode.
I don't know who that is.
He's the Allfather.
So he's Jesus?
No, he's the Allfather.
So Jesus.
He was born. He was like one of 4, one of 5, and he and his like siblings did a bunch of shit to merge the lava world and the cold world together. And then he became like all father of Midgard.
You know, this sounds like a whole bunch of crock of shit. Let me tell you about a guy named Jesus, okay?
Please don't.
Yeah, one of them came first.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then one of them's a fucking man. Yeah. Odin gave up his eye so he could drink from the river that gave him the all-knowing vision or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which
and
then
one
then he
had sex
took
with
that
a
guy's
cow?
head.
I think
I
he
don't
let
know.
himself be killed and a crow came and pecked his eye out.
His other eye?
No,
So
the one that he
it's the
is
witch?
missing.
Oh, that might be a different interpretation.
I thought it was a crow that came and got his eye out.
It might have been. I thought well, I'm going off the Neil Gaiman, and I don't know if that's official. But he goes to, this is so stupid. Why am I even trying? Mimir.
Yeah.
If you play God of War, it's the head that you get and carry
that might
around.
come up later.
Oh, hey, you're right. Odin gouged his own eye out and dropped it in the well.
Yeah, that was the price of being able to do it. And he like didn't hesitate. He's like, yeah, I can. And then he was empowered with such foresight and vision that he could see even better with just one eye. So it was,
There's
was
a guy
worth
in
it.
this movie named One Eye.
yeah.
He's got something with crows, though, right? Doesn't he have crows that, like, go out for him and shit?
Are they just like a sign of him?
Yeah. I
Crows
don't
are to
know.
Odin like doves are to John Woo.
I guess I better reread Norse mythology.
Like
There's
it's not an
a
Odin
lot
movie
that I'm
without.
confused on.
There are 2 crows at the beginning of the Northman. They do have names.
Yeah. I will tell you, watching this movie made me want to go back and rewatch The Northman. Haven't seen it since our 2-day rental coverage. I wonder if that 4-star holds for old bones.
I'd bumped it to a 4-star.
Oh, did you rewatch it?
Yeah.
From like a 2 that you rated it the first
I rated
time?
it a
Was that in
3.
was that in a rewind?
No, that was not a I just did it myself.
Those need to be reflected.
Hey,
Your
Kron
letterbox speaks for all of us, dude.
he owns the list. I don't I think the list is fucked up, honestly.
Well, I got to monitor everybody's letterbox to see if they happen to change a score on something.
Something's wrong. Rumblefish should not be that high.
100% agree.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Hannibal.
Is he maybe the coolest looking dude of all time?
All three of us are here. But maybe four.
There's something about Mads, man. I don't know what it is.
He's Dutch, right?
Danish.
He's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
If I swang that way, I'd definitely bat an eye at him.
At what point?
He can take me out on a date.
At what point in your viewing did you go, is this motherfucker seriously not going to say anything?
I had hope out there at the very end. And I was like, all right, here it comes. And
yeah, it's kind of what I thought. I thought maybe at the end he was going to finally, pull a silent Bob and finally say something.
Yeah. First 15 minutes of this movie, 0 dialogue.
7 minutes it takes.
7 minutes. And then you get very sparse dialogue. Probably the bulk of it is in chapters. So when they're on the boat.
Yeah, the boat's got a good, decent
Boat's got a lot. And then, the Christian warlord dude probably has the bulk of the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at a Danish production, Danish director. This movie was shot entirely in Scotland, I believe. Did spend about an hour and a half at the bar with my wife yesterday looking at the Viking maps and where they landed and trying to figure out where they end up at the end of this movie. But when they reference Sutherland in this movie, they are referring to the Viking portion of Scotland.
So was she like, are you going to put that away?
Oh, I thought maybe you were at a Viking map themed bar.
Oh.
You were like, I need to
Pretty
see the
specific
scrolls.
Well, I mean, it was a regular bar. I just took out my knife and started to scrape a world map onto the bar top.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was super into it?
Yeah, Dan's knife came in handy.
Oh,
Did you put like a big creature out in the water?
Oh, a little squiggly line.
Yeah,
how they a little water dragon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, Sam was like, give him a smile. I was like, no, it's a creature. He's not friendly.
He's scary.
Yeah.
Is there a Viking bar? There has to be, right?
Somewhere.
Yes, of course there is.
Fuck, I'd go there every day, dude.
You probably have to. Do you think they would serve you beer, or would you
No,
have
it's
to drink mead? Yeah.
They put probably like a membership thing where they put a stud into your bracer, every time you finish a mug.
I don't know if I'd want to drink that much mead all the time.
Yeah, you're drinking from a horn though.
That's cool.
You can't set that shit down.
Got your own fucking horn.
I bet they had a little holder, like just, because it naturally tapers.
Is that the point of it being in a horn though? Like, hey, once I fill your horn, you got to finish this shit.
I think it's business oriented because all the foam's going to come up, so you only get like that much beer. So you got to keep coming back.
Yeah. Well, then
capitalism, man.
The real smart guys figured out that if they hollowed out further and cut the bottom of the horn, they could suck it like a little cow udder. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have to deal with any foam.
Well, bro, I think the term is titty.
Is it a titty on a cow?
Yeah. Anything you're sucking could be a titty. I mean,
I don't know. That seems gross to me.
I don't think anything that you could be sucking could be called a titty.
Start grabbing some stuff around your office and let's play Is It a Titty or Not?
It just makes you feel better.
Okay,
We
category.
can't go into that.
Category's called Metal as Hell. We've been pretty open about our love of metal music. Mine, embarrassingly, probably like a high ratio of new metal in there. But Kron, you're definitely a doom sludgy guy.
Yeah, definitely. The slower and heavier, the better.
Right on.
The new Bong Ripper is really good.
I just got through the High on Fire.
How'd you like that?
I thought it was okay. I went back and listened to an older one, and I think I liked it more. I couldn't tell you which one it was.
Their first one, what's the name of it? I'll look it up and send it. It's really good, though.
Okay. But, one that I revisit a lot is Dope Lord. I like them a lot, too. I think they have accessible vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, what's is it really the High on Fire? What's some other metal that you're currently spinning?
Oh, I love the Mutoid Man. I'm definitely like I said, doomy as well. Yob Baroness, I guess you could put in there. The new Black Tusk is going to be really good, I think. But yeah, man, just anything slow and heavy. I Hate God is fucking really good.
What's the name of the band?
I Hate God. It's EYE, Hate God. So your eyeball. Paul Bear is really good. I mean,
We'll see.
I've
You guys are sophisticated.
not really. I mean,
I think it's just there's so many sub-genres of metal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you just find one that you like, and that kind of defines what your taste of metal is.
Maybe you should
High
start
Command. They're really good.
best little metal bar in Nashville, Kron.
I don't know. I don't think it's a big metal town.
Our buddy DK, he's a real big fan of Cradle of Filth. So, yeah, it just depends on what you like. I'm more of a guy that likes to kind of understand the lyrics. So, I think that's why I push over to doom and sludge a little more.
Yeah.
Which this movie could definitely be a fucking doom or sludge album.
Mm-hmm. You could probably cut parts of this to like a 50-minute doom metal album.
The score or soundtrack for this movie, incredibly sparse, done by Peter, and Peter. I think 3 of the 4 names in their duo is Peter, as Kron pointed out today.
Too many.
Yeah. But there's two particular tracks that have a really repetitive but very beautiful guitar riff that I liked in this. And to put on my Dan hat, one thing I wish would have been maybe a little bit more of that throughout this movie. But speaking of what I liked, why don't you guys rate my Letterboxd for Valhalla Rising?
Okay. Bones, I got you at a 4.0.
3.5 for Bones.
Score's locked. You guys ready to jump into this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Let's
All
do
right.
it to it.
Let's do it to it. Now, this movie, incredibly quiet, limited dialogue. It is broken up into 6 chapters. So at the end of each chapter, like we're in fucking school, I'm gonna stop and we're gonna have a little bit of discussion. Okay?
Gonna quiz us?
Yeah. Not quite. I thought we're gonna move through this very fast. So it's not totally told through montage, but there is a lot of montage. There's a lot of forward cut and backward cut to sort of fill in gaps, nothing too far. And there is, the visual representation of our main character's visions, which we see in red throughout the movie. And I thought, let's maybe try to see what our interpretations are of this. So I was very limited in reading about this because I didn't want to be too informed. One thing I did read, like Kron and I were talking about Odin, one eye. Might have been some connection there where he states he's from throughout the movie. And we'll go on, all right? Valhalla Rising, 2009. IFC Films, that was the U.S. distributor, I think.
Yeah, I would guess they just like bought it on the back end, but I don't know.
Lost a lot of money, this movie, I believe, Dan.
Box office, not looking great.
Okay.
It's under $1 million, right?
Oh, yeah, way under.
Okay. In the beginning, there was only man and nature. Men came bearing crosses and drove the heathen to the fringes of the earth. Part 1, Wrath. We open on these beautiful fog-covered hills of Sutherland, Scotland. See a young boy, he's hauling a bucket of water. His destination is a cell made of wood cut into this cliffside. It's a cell. It's guarded by some Viking-looking fucks. Inside the cell, we see our hero, Mads Mikkelsen. He is named later or given the name One Eye, but for now, he's just a prisoner. We see the prisoner being marked with these... Go ahead.
It's like he just woke up in Skyrim the start of this game.
Did it make you want to play, Kron?
No, watching Fallout has made me want to play Fallout more than anything. But I feel like every 2 or 3 years I'll throw Skyrim in, at least for, a week or two, and just kind of fuck around.
You say, I'm going to go magic this route, and then 2 days later you're a fucking ranger. Or,
every time I do it, I'm like, I'll try something new. And then I'm like, I just want to sneak around and shoot a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm. You want that 2x sneak bonus or that 3x like dagger bonus?
Oh, dude, you can get 10x dagger bonus.
Yeah.
Daggers are like the best weapon in that game.
OP, as the gamers say.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they need to get in there and nerf that.
Yeah, one shot everything. Yeah, they should nerf a 30-year-old game.
So we see our prisoner. More often than not, if he's not in his cage and he's being transported, he's held by a collar around his neck. 2 poles, 2 guards kind of locking him, controlling him where to go. We see him being covered in mud and marked in some runes by a little kid. We cut to this fight to the death. Our prisoner, he stands alongside his captors and the lords around them. They're betting on these matches. One of these lords looks like very Roman to me. Like kind of short hair, sort of more Roman features than these, Nordic guys that we see throughout the rest of the movie. We see some payment that he makes for, I guess, his fighter winning a match. So it's our prisoner's turn. He's taken to the ring. Now, this ring is just like a 30-foot mud circle with a pole in the middle. And our prisoner,
should be
still leashed, is secured to that pole. The little boy, he comes over to cut our prisoner's hands. He barely gets those undone, and his opponent comes in, just fucking pulls him down. But it's not just one opponent. It's fucking 2. But this match is brutal. The violence in this is absolutely brutal. But this match does not take very long. He ends up getting one guy on the ground, bites the guy's jugular, so he starts bleeding out. The other guy comes up behind him and tries to get him, but our prisoner gets the upper hand, kind of knocks him out a little bit. This guy's on his knees. He uses his the rope to his advantage, wraps it around the guy's neck, and then runs out as far as he can, snapping this guy's neck. Holy
Fucking
shit.
sweet, dude.
It's
Pretty good.
It's
strong.
incredible.
It's a strong start to a movie.
Yeah. So, and great little thing here. After he wins, he immediately goes back to his kneeling position and he patiently awaits to be locked back up. He's taken back to his cell. We see that the prisoner's owner is having a quick little discussion with that Roman-looking guy. The Roman says, he has never belonged to anyone for more than 5 years. Your time has passed, and mine has come. Now that night, our prisoner, he has a flash in red of a pool of water. Something beneath the water is calling to him.
Yeah, this could be a metal album cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you call? Did you say those were like his visions? I couldn't exactly figure out if they were like him remembering his past or what, you know?
I kind of see it as, his visions.
I didn't
His
know
flashbacks, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, but like I don't know what
Foreseeing?
that's meant to represent. Like if he's remembering something or if he's imagining, like
Kron, you got me thinking now because, there's some afterlife element to this, right? Like, is it that he's replaying something? Mm-hmm. Is he in some sort of purgatory, or is this hell, like in the Nordic sense?
Yeah, see,
and
I thought
he's
like,
trying to play it a certain way so he can get to Valhalla.
I was trying to figure out, like, well, did he die before this? And this is like his vision back to that. And now he's up here trying to, like make right or do better or something.
Yeah, like a Edge of Tomorrow or Source Code, sort of like, all right, I got to remember this for my speed run.
Mm-hmm.
But
and most of them are so quick that you can't really get like a grasp on what it is,
Yeah. I will say the thing I'm most leaning towards, and it sounds like Dan was that way, is just a foresight vision of the next piece as it's being laid out to him, and he's supposed to interpret whatever he can from it. So we cut to a montage of bloody fights. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because he does find something later on in that water. So
yeah, they more often than not, they seem to just be visions of what he will see. This one seems to be the only one of this is to your benefit in a way. Montage of bloody fights. Our prisoner doing, I'm guessing, labor and for exercise, just like moving rocks back and forth. It's pretty obvious that the young boy has a fascination to our prisoner. Nothing gross. He's sort of drawn to him. And it's not that the prisoner is antagonistic to anybody, right? He's very neutral to his captors.
Kind of thought him and the boy had I wonder if Winding Refn would say he was influenced by like Lone Wolf and Cub. I thought it was kind of like that, like a old dude and a little kid that have to not team up, but are like connected,
Yeah.
it's going to be El Topo, Kron, 1970. I don't know if anybody's seen that.
No, that's the Jodorowsky movie.
Yeah.
See, I know I've seen Holy Mountain and I've seen Santa Sangre, but I don't think I've ever seen El Topo.
Topo, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of his main influences for this movie. So that's where that kid and him relationship is.
Have you seen any of those, Bones? Jodorowsky's?
No, I want to say I've seen the first two Lone Wolf and Cubs.
Those are different dudes. than
Oh, I
Jordan.
recognize that. I didn't get to chime in on the first part of it.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't want to be a loser who was unaware of two of the topics that you were talking about. Dan, what did you think of this awesome brain bash that we see in one of these fights?
The violence is good, man. When we get it, like,
It's just
it's good.
it's too front loaded in a way, though. I wish there had been more of this spaced out through the movie.
Oh, you wanted more
I think
Yeah, I feel like you get it all almost in the first 30 minutes, and then you get a long stretch where there's kind of like sitting around talking.
Well, this was one of the things. This is why I specifically called out Drive to you. Was I feel the same way about Drive. Drive has that awesome, incredible opening, and then you maybe get that Mustang on the highway scene later.
He caves a guy's skull inside of an elevator.
No, I understand that, but in terms of what the premise is sort of kind of saying it's going to deliver, like a movie called Drive about a driver, my beef when I left Driver was like, not a lot of driving.
Yeah, certainly.
Not a lot of driving. So in this movie, it's like, well, it's a Viking prisoner who's put like death flights. You know, at least they had the foresight to go, listen, we open on the awesome one or the beginning fight. Somebody was like, we should probably do a montage to kind of like get a little bit more in there. But I think the point is to front load it, right? I think it's supposed to lull you in and think, oh, this is going to be fucking dope.
Yeah, I guess.
And then it switches you on you, becomes this fucking heady thing versus bloodlusty.
I guess with most Winding Refn movies, like you can cut together a 2-minute trailer that is entirely different from the movie you're about to watch.
Yeah. I mean, Only God Forgives. What are the two mains? Obviously, you got the big fight at the end. And then you got that fucking drive-by.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that stands out to me. So be it.
Never finished it.
Sometime later, the prisoner is being transported. He's taken to a pool, a bath for this beast. He submerges himself, and on one of the rocks below, he finds an arrowhead. This must have been that body of water from that vision, huh?
Hey.
He pops this arrowhead in his mouth. Later in his cell, he tests the sharpness of the arrowhead on his palm, and he hides it away in a little nook. They're bastards, these people. These followers of the White Christ. A much-traveled man once told me that they eat their own God. Eat his flesh, drink his blood. Abominable. Now, our Lord here, he's having a discussion with another fellow Viking about the incoming horde that is Christianity, and that it is pushing out their many gods. And we also then cut back to that discussion between this chieftain and that Roman. And the Roman states, listen, you're going to need money. If you want to reason with these Christians coming, the only thing that they reason with is money. So sell me the prisoner and you'll have something. They shake on it.
I thought that was a good line. Like, you know, they present like both sides of this as being religiously motivated. And in this scene, it's like, if you want to bargain with them, you're going to need cash. Like, so instantly we're going back on that. And then I think when you see the Christian group later, they are willing to like abandon their principles if it means they, you know, get out of the mist essentially. Like I don't think this movie is particularly like friendly to any of the religions that it depicts. You know, it's kind of like they're all shitty in their own ways. So,
and this is a very succinct reason to pass him off. Right? Like, okay, he's so good. We see him up as just being fucking immortal, basically. Why would this guy sell him? It's like the little insert of him talking to the other guy being like, they're fucking coming, dude. And they're brutal. They like, we rape and pillage and take whatever the fuck we want, but these guys eat their god. That's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
He even says, like, we can't give him up. Like, we need him to help us.
Mm-hmm. So before he's sold, there's a little scene where the chieftain's kind of like talking to him, and it's like, who are you? Like, where are you from? Our prisoner does not talk. Whether he is purposely refusing to or is unable to, we do not know. The chieftain orders the prisoner to be hooded, taken away, presumably to be sold, as we saw. Now, on the way, the prisoner, he starts using that arrowhead kind of discreetly underneath his hood whenever he can. Start cutting at the collar. Once he has it off, he does not delay. He kills the one man in the front of him, arrowhead to the throat, takes that guy's axe. He does this cool dive move that I think we see like 2 more times in the movie, where he'll kind of dive towards his opponent, fucking slash at their Achilles or whatever, and kind of take them out. Kills this guy. He stares at the remaining man. Cut a little bit later, and now that guy is now chained to a rock. This dude's bloody, barely alive. Starts cussing at our prisoner. When I die, you will go back to hell. Now this man gets the worst of it. The prisoner comes up and he just slices this dude's gut, reaches in and pulls out as many fucking intestines as he can.
I think this is the best kill in the entire movie. Pulls his own guts out of him and like throws them on the ground.
Yeah, just throws him on the fucking ground, dude.
Now, the young boy was on this fucking transport with him, and he is just hiding during all of this violence. And we get a little cut back to that chieftain and the Roman talking. He's driven by hate. That's why he survives, why he never loses. And the chieftain, this isn't to the Roman. This is like to his men. It's like in this part, he's found out that the transport has been fucked up, that he's escaped. And this is him basically saying, oh, he's coming back for us. And we don't even see him kill this guy. What we then see is we just cut to Mads carrying the fucking chieftain's head. He takes it back to the fighting arena and posts it on a fucking pike. Just as like a fuck you to everybody. Takes off.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
That was part 1.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
movie on our hands.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good start.
Okay. Discussion. The only notes I wrote for this. Did you guys notice faint animal, like bear-like noises during the fights? Like not just like human grunts. There were like almost like these fucking predatory growls.
I don't think I picked up on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I clocked that specifically. I do think they're doing a lot with like the sound mix in general, though. So I could see them putting in some kind of animal. I mean, especially the fighting in this is like so intense. I could see them adding like an animalistic kind of element to it.
How did you guys watch this movie?
On Pluto, and every time they went to a commercial, I would get angry. Because it's so different from the movie, It's like you've got this period-specific film, and then you've got a
Pine Sol commercial?
Yeah, Tide Pods ad will pop up or something.
Dan, how about you?
I did Plex. And yeah, same thing. Just fucking, you're in it, and then, well, I have heartburn, so I take this medicine. Yeah.
I went ahead and signed up for that free week of Mubi.
Mm-hmm.
And goddamn, did it look great on my fucking MacBook while I was doing notes. So the first time I watched it was on Pluto. And then I got lucky. I think maybe it was so late. And they were like, who gives a shit? Because about like the second half of the movie, I don't recall any ads.
Oh, I had one every like 12 minutes on the mark. Like, if you were in the middle of dialogue, it did not matter. They were cut into a commercial.
I swear there are times where I'll watch something on Tubi or Pluto and it's not watchable. It's too many commercials. And then the next time I watch something, it's like front loaded and then nothing.
I wish more things like Peacock does it sometimes where they're like, hey, if you watch like a 5-minute block of ads up front, we'll just let you watch the movie. Mm-hmm. And I wish more places would let you do that.
Yeah, some good stuff on Mubi, excuse me.
Maybe I'll say anything else perked your interest.
You know what was trending? And listen, the only thing that I watched was Valhalla Rising, but there were 2 or 3 Emmanuel movies at the top. So I don't know if those had just recently been added to Mubi, but any Emmanuel fans out there?
Isn't that funny that there's we're a service for people that love movies, and the top thing is like 3 porno films.
Ultimately, yeah. The most famous softcore series of all time. Part 2, Silent Warrior. The prisoner and his axe, they hike along the hills. He turns to see the boy following. Doesn't say anything. Kind of just stares at him for a little bit and continues on his way. He stops for water. The boy finally speaks to him. He mentions the necklace that he's wearing, and he says, I think it was given to me by my father. I think. I don't know. I can't remember. Later that night, while the boy's sleeping, the prisoner has another red vision. He sees a boat out on a foggy sea, specifically a sword. Further on their journey, the prisoner and the boy, they come across a group of Christian warriors. They have just absolutely massacred this group of people. They are presumably burning all of the bodies of the males that they've killed. The women are stripped nude and grouped up.
I believe the only women you see in this movie are huddled together in a pile for warmth.
Yes. They approach. One of the men asks them, "Are you from the clans, warrior?" Boy responds, "No." "Why does the boy speak for you? You Christians?" "Yes," says the boy.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, you're lying." The kid tried to do the little crucifix thing, but he got it backwards. He started from the bottom and
upside down.
Yeah,
dude.
he was like, yeah. This guy picks up his sword. He starts to walk towards our prisoner when another of these Christians is sitting on this rock, and he's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I've heard about this dude. He's one of the biggest savages in Sutherland. Killed our chieftain's son and most of our men. So they take pause.
How did that get to that guy?
I mean, it's the same way like everybody knows Dalton's the fucking best. Right? It's just like word of mouth.
Are you talking about our #1 movie, Roadhouse?
Yeah. So this head Christian guy, he calls over his son to presumably step. I've said presumably way too many times. I'm sorry. Apologize. I'm getting conscious of it. To take on this silent warrior. Now, our hero doesn't blink. Cool thing where he kind of extends his axe out a little bit, like, all right, let me get a better swing on this bad boy. Now, the son, he walks up a little bit, says, nah, I'm all right. Dad kind of walks over, says, all right, what's your name? And the boy speaks for him.
DMX, I'll be the best.
Arr, arr. This Christian shit is mine. Boy calls him One Eye. Leader offers them to eat with them that night, and then they will have a discussion.
This rage, I'm trapped inside a cage.
I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my dick because I fucked a corpse. I can't do the next line.
That's pretty metal.
DMX pretty metal, dude.
DMX was wild, dude.
Metal, dude.
I think in response to being called a One Eye, One Eye looks at the boy, and the boy's like, "What? You needed a name, right? Like, you only got the one fucking eye, and you won't fucking talk to me."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have called him like Silent Bob. That
Yeah.
shit would have been kind of funny.
What are you, Bones, when he's fighting with his wife? Say something.
You can't.
No,
I don't say anything either.
I zip up and ship out, dude.
I go out and smoke a cigarette.
That night,
Burn a cig, dude?
No, but internally I am.
I've been debating on sending you a pack.
It would be game over, dude.
But I'm
If a
gonna
pack is
I'm
in
gonna
front of you,
I'm gonna
you would
address
do
it to your wife though. So she's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Bad news. Yeah, if you send me a pack, dude, I would absolutely have one. Are you crazy? Free cigarette?
If I picked you up from the airport and just lit up one in my truck,
Yeah, I'd probably be like, "Do you got another one?" If you're gonna have one, I'm gonna have one.
I'm not going to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Puff Riders, huh?
That's right.
That's what we call a 360, folks.
Our head Christian guy, he's questioning the warrior about his intentions given his newfound freedom. And the boy continues to speak. He says that he wants to go home, but he's not quite sure where that is. The leader offers One Eye a spot on his team. So we are God's warriors, and they are currently planning to head to Jerusalem to reconquer the Holy Land.
Nah, fuck that shit. Nah, dude. Nah.
Why do these guys even care about that? They're in Scotland right now.
I mean,
I mean, a sense of like direction.
On-
I think you knew when they said this, you were like, no, they're not going to make it to Jerusalem.
Wouldn't their thing just be to like conquer Scotland though for Christianity? Rather than like why are they even there in the first place and now they're going to leave and go conquer the Holy Land?
I mean, they're taking out these clans of non-Christians pretty easy here. It's pretty boring. And everything that they hear, if they go to Jerusalem and they reconquer it, they're going to get honor, riches, and land.
There's like
Is what he
6
says.
dudes.
Well, but you got to think there's 6 dudes from everywhere all heading there at the same time.
Yeah. You tell 6 friends, and they tell 6 friends.
It's the ultimate pyramid scheme,
Yeah,
dude.
The leader's own men do not seem very excited about this trek to the Holy Land.
Yo, Dad, you're getting a little too carried away, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be excited either. You got to cross the ocean and it's full of squiggly line monsters out there.
Across the lake.
I mean, really, they leave Scotland,
And go to Scotland.
and as long as they keep Europe on their left as they go down, they'll go around Spain and Portugal and around the boot. And then they got to keep going through, the Peloponnese, south of Greece and all that, and a little further over. So it's not, I mean, it's the Mediterranean. It's not quite ocean, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. 'Cause, spoiler alert, they don't fucking end up in Jerusalem, all right?
We didn't make it so much lovely fish here.
So one of the Christians, he's the right-hand man of our main warlord, and I'm going to refer to him as right-hand man through this. He talks to One Eye alone, and he offers him redemption, whether he lives or dies, if he joins this, what's the word I'm looking for? Crusade,
Yeah.
right?
Cult.
Consider your soul. That's where the real pain lies. Fucking One Eye just stares at this dude. When asked where One Eye comes from, the boy answers and says that he comes from hell on the other side of the ocean. 3 meanings potentially in this, right? There's Christian hell, which is the bad place.
The Middle East.
There's the Nordic hell, which is just like you're dead and you had kind of like a bland life. And then there's like an actual place in Scandinavia called hell, I believe. Interesting.
Is it Hell or just Hel?
I think it's Hel.
Does the E have like a 2 dots above it or something?
It may or may not.
Mm-hmm.
That was the end of part 2.
Oh, shit.
How we feeling so far? Not as much brain bashing in that part.
Yeah, I feel like parts 1 and 2 are better than 3, 4, and 5.
I'm on board.
Dan's on board.
Mm-hmm.
Hold my hand, dude. Let's keep going.
All right.
Let's go to part 3, Men of God.
Yeah, this is where I start falling off.
What if it was Women of God?
Oh, I'm back in, dude.
I'm not leaving the women that are all huddled up trying to keep warm. I'm trying to keep them warm. You know what I'm saying?
Those women want fucking nothing to do with you, dude. The last thing they need is a man offering to fucking solve their problem.
Also, you've probably already like burned their houses and
Yeah.
done unspeakable things at this point. So
Leave those
God.
poor women alone.
It was in the name of the Lord.
We are aboard the boat that is meant for the Holy Land. We see the Christian warriors and our heroes. They are adrift in a thick fog. We have no idea how long they've been lost, but dudes, they're fucked.
this is where the movie really starts to stall out for me.
Just
When we spend 40 minutes on this boat in the mist.
It's not as long as it feels. I will recognize your perspective. It feels like you're there for a while, but
Yeah.
just an apocalypse now, but not as cool as Apocalypse Now.
Also, I think at some point we should. I feel like this movie, and I get that there are budget limitations, but how much better would all of this had been shot on like somewhat grainy film versus like clean digital? I feel like it hurts the view, like, because it's so digital, and there are parts where I feel like in post they put like a spotlight on like Mads Mikkelsen's face. So there's all this kind of like digital doctoring done on the back end, I feel like. And for like an old school movie, you know, you're trying to do this like period specific thing. It would feel so much older if this was on 16 millimeter film.
yeah, I don't know if the latter half of the movie would pop quite like it does. Them being able to shoot in natural light. I think the digital sort of pays off on the backside of it.
I will tell you
I think
this,
you're working against. Go ahead.
They did do some crafty work here, because during this entire segment, the sea is made of black plastic bags.
Yeah, this was just a boat in a warehouse from what I saw. So, all right.
I guess I feel like it points in all of his movies in a way, like Winding Refn's ambitions are often higher than his budget is allowing him to be, you know?
I think he's punching above his weight.
I think it's cool that the dude like takes risks and will make a movie like this, but there's also points where I'm like, God damn, this could look so much more interesting in a way.
Would it change your mind if I told you what the budget was?
Isn't the budget around like 5 or something?
It's $4 million.
Yeah. Which, like I said, making a period violent Viking movie for $4 million is ambitious, but I don't know. There's just certain points in it where I'm like, this could look cooler. Like, this could look more interesting.
I think you're right. I think think you're being 5% too tough on it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it is that thing where it's like, if you see a movie that's just a little bit off from being really good, it bothers you more than it being 90% off the mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then I also think if this was 35 million, would you have been bogged down with some other things? Would it not have been as creative?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely would have had some producer breathing down your neck to change this and change that. So absolutely.
Yeah.
It would have been a less interesting story with a more polished, or not polished, but a more authentic look.
Yeah. All right. Cool sort of sweeping shot of all the men on this boat. Presumably, a few of these dudes are already dead. We do see one guy get dumped overboard. They're out of water. They're out of supplies. So I'm going to jump around here because this is a lot of montage sort of cut back and forth here. The young boy gets preached to by the right-hand man. He tells the kid to pray. In this, we see like the whole time the boy's being like proselytized to. One eye is just asleep, does not give a shit, just completely zones out. Anything anybody says about Christianity and prayer. Now, the men are continually freaked out by this mist. It is a constant mist that surrounds the boat. They find it hard to believe that it could be this thick, this far out from the shore. One of them, and this starts to spread, is convinced that this is a curse brought to them on specifically by the kid. We see the Christians all praying together. They're asking for wind to clear away this fog. One of the men gets so desperate he finally drinks some salt water. One of the other ones like tells him, "Don't do that again. You will die." The guy that does drink the salt water is so out of it, he's just laughing in response. Another red vision, open water, no mist. I don't know if it's on this, but my favorite shot of the movie are those red waves where you're upside down. And it almost looks like, like a fire backdraft effect. I really liked that. More talk of the curse. Some of these guys are convinced that somebody, most likely this boy, is to blame. And they start to discuss how they're going to kill him. One man just sits up and he's like, "I'll do it. Fuck it."
He had to back then,
You got to be prepared to kill little blonde boys.
Mm-hmm.
Just that time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it'll make the mist go away, or even if it has the chance to make the mist go away, it's worth it.
I mean, I think I'm pro mist, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you are both lucky there wasn't a misty morning in the Nashville records.
You think you could get the drop on me?
I think I could get the drop on you, yeah.
I don't think you realize how loud your fucking keys are.
And Dan gave me a knife, so already had a weapon.
One of them was dull,
had
though.
A knife there. Everybody had a knife, and I didn't leave with a wound.
Well, there was no mist.
I also slept naked. So when you go to pull the sheets out, you're going to have a few seconds of shock. And that's all I need.
You got two butts?
You slept
What the
naked
hell?
with two dudes in the house?
I don't really have two butts, but every night I take a black magic marker and I draw on another crack. It's the ultimate diversion.
These motherfuckers.
It throws your it throws your orientation off. You wouldn't think that people center their aim based on the butt crack, but they do. So you think like, oh, it's 18 inches up and 2 to the right to his heart from his butt crack.
Aiming?
That's what I'm saying. That's your point of reference. That's what you can see in low light.
Yep. It's the contrast.
I'm pretty
of
pale.
the whole
Exactly,
thing.
Kron. It's the contrast of the two cheeks. It's that cavity.
I get
I'm
it.
so pale, you see it. So your eye tunes into that and you go, like I said, foot and a half up, a little to the right, that's the heart. But if there's two lines there, what is it? You might just hit fucking sheet.
Yeah.
Scab.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. My fucking shading is so good. It looks like two scabs. You can't tell the difference.
You take that little silver box of pubic hair and you just lightly sprinkle it on there.
No, I have an empty one open, prepared for Kron's. After I slice him, that's my scalp.
I don't know what I'm looking at anymore.
All right, this dude approaches.
Has got me disoriented.
Mm-hmm. It's two butts, pubes where there shouldn't be pubes. I don't know what to do anymore.
This guy sleeping naked?
This dude approaches the boy as silent as he can, prepared to kill him, but he is quickly murdered by our hero here and just tossed nonchalantly overboard. Some of the other men attempt to attack, but the leader jumps in. He orders them to back off. One Eye just stays alert until each of these men put down their weapon, that leader included. Now,
Well, I do like after this, they just are at the front of the boat with their backs to them. Like, you're not going to fucking do anything to us.
Mhm. So now even the leader is starting to get nervous. The boy said he was from hell. Maybe that's where we're going. We see that particular shot of that sword sort of stood up in the center of the boat that we saw in the red vision earlier. The boat is now starting to rock, and in that rocking, one of the cups is rolling back and forth across the deck. Starboard side, port side, starboard side, port side. Those are your nautical
sorry,
terms.
this is my Gatorade bottle. I pissed in it.
How can you be pissing? We're all dehydrated.
No, it's fresh water.
Dan's the guy
You
who
guys
drank
haven't
the salt
drank the
water.
water? It's fresh.
Speaking of fresh water, this rolling of the cup back and forth awakens One Eye. He grabs the cup, and from our perspective, he's just giving in. He goes to the edge, he fills the cup, takes a swig. Now, our main conspirator dude of the Christian group, he sees him and he starts laughing, thinking, oh, shit, you've given up. We win. One Eye just hands the cup to the dude. Just, here. You want me to die? One Eye slightly smirks at him. The man takes it, gives a little sniff, a little check, gives it a drink. Holy shit, it's fucking fresh. And what I love about this, as soon as he starts yelling it's fresh, that leader dude gets up, fucking bolts, pushes everybody out of the way, grabs it, takes a gulp. Holy shit.
Thirsty as hell.
Thirsty as hell. And speaking of being hydrated, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. At the end of part 3, One Eye had figured out that they were now in fresh water. Laundry Dan, Kron Howard. Kron, you were leaning more towards, enjoying part 1s and 2s, but 3s, you're not a fan of that boat, huh?
3's a lot of sitting on a boat talking about how misty it is. I'm sorry, it doesn't have the oomph of 1 and 2.
That's fair. Dan, I love you, man. You're one of my best friends. Probably my best friend. I thought a lot of you while watching this movie. I was like, this seems up Dan's alley. Are you still along for the ride on your first watch?
I'm still on board here because I am in the all right, where are we going here? Because I obviously know it's not going to be Jerusalem, so
Right.
I'm like, all right.
I was trying to think. I was like, Dan is a fan of that slow burn. This to me is kind of like lighting a fuse and you get that, or lighting a candle and you get that initial sort of pop, right? That comes off and then it is like a consistent burn. This seems like kind of the opposite of something like The Witch, for example, right? The Witch, we sort of open on like, holy shit, there is a fucking witch that killed a baby, but pretty tense throughout and then a little bit of a buildup. This is big, beefy, violent opening and then starts to sort of taper off.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we think that is there symbolism in these chapters as this starts to taper off rather? It's tough, right? We should just be talking about puppets all the time.
This is a weird.
I tried, dude.
You don't know. I think that's with any reffin' film, though. You don't know his end game.
Mm-hmm.
And me doing some research and finding some other endings that he had come up with, I'm like, okay. But I don't know.
Does he seem to you guys like he's a 65% sort of guy? Like, I have an idea. I think I've got 65% of what I want to do, and then I'm going to maybe shoot it and then sort of piece it together, and maybe it'll guide me versus...
I think he's 100% guy.
You think?
This is going to fucking rip.
Okay. He doesn't seem like he follows the Pixar school of, like, working backwards at all.
I think he thinks of himself as like an old school, like I'm in the Friedkin Scorsese discussion, but I don't know if he's earned that.
Fuck, he said that to Friedkin's face, right?
Yeah.
Like even Friedkin was, I mean, we know he's
Friedkin
mostly
was like,
joking.
What have you done?
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for part 4? The Holy Land.
Oh.
The vessel's now
my favorite.
We made it.
Out of the thick mist, and they realize that they are on a river. There are woods on either side. Again, port and starboard. Those are the nautical terms.
Nice.
It's morning. The environment is lush and forested.
They're on the poop deck.
You're in charge when we get lost at sea.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Port, starboard, bow, stern.
Mm-hmm. If that means I don't have to row, hell yeah. Go that way, dudes.
You got to beat the drum, though.
I'll beat
Gotta
that
be
drum.
playing
So
some
Dan
metal,
and I
dude.
know how to row.
It ain't working, dude. I just get bang on a drum all day.
Mm-hmm.
The men, they go ashore. Some of them
They made
head
it
off.
to America, right?
North America. Whether or not this is Greenland, I think it's probably more of the area of what was called Vinland, New Brunswick,
Newfoundland?
Nova Scotia,
Somewhere
Newfoundland,
up in Canada.
yeah, Newfoundland
In that
probably,
area,
yeah.
Newfoundland. I
So-
think it is a thing that the Vikings did make it here, or America. They did hit first. And it
Yeah,
was
like
kinda
before
whatever.
Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long enough that they were trading with natives eventually. I think we think, what we considered to be the world map, thanks to it having been skewed, right? Greenland is like this giant monster, which doesn't make any sense because of the warping necessary to fit, the globe on a flat surface, or presentation. But Sam and I were talking about the Great Circle. Are you guys familiar with that, with like flight patterns?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I do track a lot of flights, so
Well, it's okay. So
where we're headed.
in a few weeks, I'm going to be flying from Chicago to Munich. If you were to look at a standard map and you would say, oh, I'm just going to go in a straight line, right? I'm going to end up flying over Virginia and over like a really thick part of the Atlantic and then over France and into Germany. That's not quite the case. Like the Great Circle is like you take the globe.
Canada.
Yeah. I'll basically end up going
Yeah, you go up.
over Newfoundland, potentially touching the bottom of Greenland, over the UK. So, but what I'm getting to is it's very believable to think that the Vikings, who were very pro-water because of the nature of where they developed, would have eventually trickled over to the top versus Columbus, who was like, I think if I keep going this way, I'll come around, right? Hence the term Indian, because they thought they had just ended up on the other side of that continent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that Anthony Hopkins did try to explain this to us in The Edge, but they wouldn't let him. They told him to save his breath.
I thought you were going to talk about the Mutiny on the Bounty, where he yells at Mel Gibson the whole time. You ever see that?
I don't think we need to bring up Mel Gibson in this type of movie.
Hey, pumpkin tits.
Good luck identifying my real butt crack. That's where I learned it from. All right, some of the men, they go ashore to scout and hunt. As they push further inland, they come across an area with some man-made structures. Now, how smart did you guys feel when you saw these?
I was like, those are cool houses.
Not me. I knew exactly what they were, and I thought, I'm fucking loving this. I was already into this, and this is so dope.
What were they?
They are Native American burial scaffolds. Have you guys... is it called...
That's in my will.
What's the Christian Bale movie? Is it called Savages?
No, it's... I went to the fucking theater.
Hostiles.
Movie Pass.
Hostiles, yeah. Savages, that Oliver Stone, John Travolta one, right?
Yeah, it might come up on this show.
Okay, fuck.
We're doing that instead of JFK?
Oh, we're doing that, JFK.
But I think Deadwood,
Nixon.
they reference this, that, you know, some of the Native American cultures, they wouldn't bury, they would lift them atop. They would build these little scaffoldings, and that's where they would put their dead. And then, of course, as they get closer, we as the viewer, we start to identify feathers, other things to indicate what we connect to Native American cultures. One eye has a vision. It's one of the Christian guys staring ominously and pointing, and some other unknown men staring at him while standing around a big cross. Now, our Christian leader, he's now convinced that his duty is to show these people that a man of God has arrived. He is very pro using the hilt, like, you know, the underside of his sword to hold up like a cross.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, right? That like a sword is like an upside down cross.
I don't know. I mean, wasn't a lot of that stuff though?
I don't know. It's starting to make a lot of sense to me.
Like the Crusades and shit, you know, I would guess they would walk into battle like that.
Yeah, but it seems like, did God do that on purpose?
These guys never stood a fucking chance here. There should have just been arrows that blotted out the sun.
Well,
from these guys.
There's one guy, right, that takes one in the neck.
We're
Yeah,
getting
they
there.
all should have
We're
fucking
getting
took him
there.
to the neck, the stomach, everywhere.
They're toying with him, dude.
Ah.
We'll get there. Now, the man that One Eye had a vision of, he's out taking a shit. He gets startled by something. He pulls a sword and he creeps further into the woods. So, we're not in the Holy Land. Then where the hell are we? Asks one of these Christians.
Idaho.
We see One Eye walk up to the crew, and he has found the sword of that man that was taking a poo, now missing. The gang leader wonders, where the hell did you find that? They freak out. They start wandering around. One of them is...
You think they let him finish before they killed him? Just at least, like, you know, get that last poo out before you go to the great beyond.
I mean, was he able to convey to them via universal language that, like, you know, I got a turtle head still?
I think
like,
if you see a guy squatting out there, you know, I would be willing to let him finish before I killed him.
You're right. But so you say you accidentally make the noise while you're creeping on this dude and he gets up and comes after you to investigate.
Well, then you got to kill him.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You're investigating with a fucking turd hanging out of your ass?
You get startled enough. I think that thing's popping back in, you know.
That guy's like, oh, there's 2 butt cracks. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Better pull out that other sword.
But let's say he doesn't get startled. Would, like, if you were the native person, would you let him finish? You clearly know what he's doing. I think I would. I would let a guy poop before I killed him.
No, don't shit on my native land, dude.
Yeah. You don't know what's in that poop.
I guess, but
If
you know, just universal.
if some Martian came down and started dropping some ooze from its backside, would you let it finish? Or would
No.
you think, I got to stop this from being a global event?
See,
Welcome
this
to
is where
Earth,
we
bitch.
This is where we disagree. I would. I would let him. He's clearly got something he needs to get out of him.
Yeah, he's not grunting because of aggression.
Mm-mm. If I see an alien squatting, I know what he's doing. It might look different, but I get it. I've been there.
So our main instigator, the one that
You're so dead.
tried to, started the whole conspiracy about the kid being the curse and all that, he's now starting some shit saying that he's convinced that One Eye is going to kill all of them one by one, including this now missing partner.
Discord,
God
chime
damn
in.
right.
Would you let an alien shit before you killed him? Let us know.
I think I'm with Dan. It's like, you don't know. You gotta.
Wow. You
That
guys
shit
are.
could be something spreading that kills everybody.
Yeah.
dude.
You guys are so
American.
just unempathetic.
Kron, it sounds like you're pro the scientists in Prometheus taking their helmets off.
Hell yeah, dude. Breathe that fresh alien air into your lungs.
Live a little.
Mm-hmm.
Thought you were explorers.
The computer said it was breathable air.
If
guys.
it reads as breathable air, you're good to go. Let
Sure.
alien shit breathe
Sure.
their air.
The
Doesn't
question,
matter.
The question wasn't whether or not it was breathable, Dan. It was what other things could live in said breathable air.
What is the other issues you have with Prometheus besides this fucking issue that we've talked about for 15 fucking years?
That lady runs in a straight line when she easily could have run left or right.
Whenever they're in the
There's like a lady that gets crushed by a big thing that's falling on her. She could have just run to
A part
either
of the
side.
ship, like a circular part of the ship, starts rolling. And I think it's Charlize and Nomi. They're just like
Yeah.
running straight when they could just.
It's like it's an Austin Powers gag. It's so unbelievable that they could not pick either direction.
I'm gonna
to
have
move
to
it.
create a category to get Prometheus on this fucking show.
I watched Alien Covenant a few months ago.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I really did, but nah. Yep. Dan's Alien Covenant coaster.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
May 19th,
No good.
2017.
I might
I
go watch
wanna-
Alien tomorrow at Alamo.
I want to rewatch the first 4, I think.
I've rewatched the first 3 and then watch
yeah,
an
but
Arnold movie.
I haven't seen 4 in so long. I know it's not going to be good, but
Just rewatch 1 and 2, and then we'll do 3 on the show.
Kron, do like 1, 4, 3, 2.
okay.
You know, so you end on a
Are we going to do
I
the
know-
new one?
yeah. What's that?
For a 2-day? Are we going to do a new one? Ramen?
I'm gonna give it
Ramen-ness?
I'm gonna give it a shot. That's why I wanted to watch
Let's
Covenant.
do a 2-day, dude. August.
There's one guy on the show who has difficulty getting to the theater. Okay.
It's temporary. If we do this thing long enough, I'll be back to...
You'll get there.
We're so close now. I mean, we're like 2 months out from being able to get back to a normal kind of routine, so...
Hey.
Shut up, Dan.
I like your
Just agree with me, dude.
Yeah, totally, dude. Maybe a month and a half.
Fuck.
The leader starts to share a dream that he once had with his right-hand man, and the right hand asks, like, what the fuck should we do about our missing friend? Like, fuck your dream. We got a missing pooper. And the leader's like, leave a sword, dude. If he finds it, it's God's will that he survives. Otherwise, we got to keep moving.
How many soldiers do you think have been lost to pooping?
0 if I was in charge of killing him.
Like some dude wanders off to take a shit and they never come
It's
back.
probably an embarrassing number. I'm sure most... instead of it being MIA-POW, it should be MIA-POO, because I bet the majority of those guys went missing, not having adequate facilities, and that's where we fail our soldiers. We don't take care of them in the field, and we don't take care of them when they get home.
You have to explain that to their wives.
Mm-hmm. Instead of a folded up flag, it's a roll of toilet paper. Is that the most disrespectful thing I've ever said on the show?
Yeah, we're all right. We love the troops.
I know a lot of troops, and they would find. I mean,
Hey,
I'm a former EMS man. Like you got dark humor. The men are now back in their boat, and they are putting their backs into the oar. One of these dudes gets a fucking arrow through the chest.
Hell yeah, I was temporarily back in on this movie.
And this guy is screaming. He is in agony as they continue to row. The leader's like, we're going to fucking get to shore. We're going to fucking fight these fucks. This guy's screaming. Our main instigator dude's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Not holding your sword upside down anymore now, are you?
Nope. They get on shore. They find no one. They find nothing but a muddy bank. Part 5. Hell.
Dun, 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 dun.
it's
When
a
I
Nirvana album, right? The Muddy Banks of Washkapi. I don't even remember it.
A Nirvana
That was-
album?
That was their live album.
I think it was MTV Unplugged.
No, there's a live album.
You know, one of the dudes from Melvins was their first drummer?
Before David Grohl.
Yeah. Dale Crover on their demo that they submitted. He did drums on that.
I bet he's like, fuck.
I don't know. I think
Still playing shows right now.
I think he likes what he's doing. Besides all the discs he had to get taken out of his back from
Oh, he wasn't at your show. That's
poor
right.
posture.
Yeah, he's fucked up.
One eye sits with the boy, and the boy seems as though one eye is communicating with him or something. It's a very particular stare that they have back and forth. Now, right hand and the leader, they're having a discussion. Particularly this right hand, he is showing the arrowhead to the leader. He's like, look at this. This is stone. This isn't iron. We were dealing with, I'll try to be more sensitive than what the movie says, like a more primitive enemy here.
Yeah, I mean, they've clearly underestimated their enemy.
Yes. Leader says that they were sent here for a reason.
Did anybody was like, oh, this could be a Predator movie like right now?
I mean,
No, the whole time I was just like, are they in America? Are they somewhere farther north? Are they?
look, I want the Predator in Samurai Japan. I want the Predator in the Old West. But more so than the Old West, I would fucking love a Predator
Skin that smoke wagon.
in
You predators
up
go.
against some fucking Vikings. That would be so fucking dope. And I'm sure somebody has
Copyright,
pulled out a map and gone, all right, where are all the cool civilizations that a Predator could be?
Maybe he's in Mesopotamia earning a few shekels, you know?
You fucking give me the creeps.
You think Predator-
fucking give me the
Does the Predator
creeps.
let a guy poop? Doesn't seem like
Nope.
No, fuck.
Hell no, dude.
that doesn't seem very honorable.
Well, aren't they into like fighting the best of the best though? Isn't that like the Predator's whole
Yeah,
thing?
but they won't
That's
fight
the
somebody
next
who's
box
unarmed.
set.
Yeah, but but that's what I'm saying. You kill a guy while he's shitting, like you're kind of a bad predator at that point.
Yeah, T-Rex killed that one dude while he was shitting.
Yeah, but in your heat vision, it's going to look so confusing. This person they're growing.
You know, predator shits, dude. You know what he's doing.
T-Rex versus Predator, dude. Fuck.
The band?
Mark Brolin.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't drive cars, you
A
know.
little skinny guy in a top hat fighting the predator?
Well, check out, I'm a japester for your love, girl.
Have you guys seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
No.
Is that a Tim Burton one?
No, that's just Planet of the Apes.
Okay, I have not seen past
that
that
the-
one.
The third one by Matt Reeves.
Yeah. Forgive me, I'm not sure if it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or War of the Planet of the Apes, but one of them opens with just basically the little tribe of apes, and it's 20 minutes, and it's no dialogue. It's like subtitled because they can kind of sign language. And talk about a movie not living up to that. It's so engrossing. And now you've got me wondering, like, could you do a Predator against dinosaurs where it's just like a T-Rex or some velociraptors like looking over their eggs, and it's a mommy and daddy, and it's all just visual cues, you know, suck us in, and then might be a cool short.
I'd watch it.
Or
I think we can all agree there should be more Predator movies.
or you set it in modern times and you just the Predator drops off at Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's a savior.
Yeah, he's helping the humans for once.
Oh,
Getting rid of these pesky
but
dinosaurs.
I was saying after they left the island, you know, the dinosaurs are just running amok.
Mm.
As they should, cage free. I like my dinosaurs cage free. Okay.
Well, that's how you get them meat and the eggs to taste the best.
That cage-free thing is such bullshit, though.
That oak
Because all it
is-
means is that there's some little door that technically the chickens could go out of.
Mhm.
statistically
That's what
speaking.
the fucking media tells you, dude. But really, it's like 2 acres. That yolk's so yellow. Oh, so yellow.
Just buy them from a guy that's got chickens. It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, or pay $12 a carton at the farmer's
from
market.
a lady who has like 50 chickens, and every week she's like, "You need eggs?" Like, you just gave me an 18 pack. Like,
Yes, I do.
no, I don't need eggs.
I eat 6 a day.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Start rocking that shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just every week. You need eggs? No, god damn it. How many eggs
Dan,
you think I eat, lady?
You should take the egg. You should start selling the eggs. Start turning a
Dan,
profit.
I think I'm up to like, I got to be up to like 5 eggs a day right now.
Do you like hard boil, or are you just scrambling? What are you doing?
No, I'm doing, well, we can cut this. I'm doing like 4 to 5 whites with 1 egg mixed into it.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
So you're doing 1 yolk to 4 other whites.
Yeah. Just cook it in a pan.
You know, women are fighting for abortion rights in this country.
I'll eat your eggs. Send them to me.
Expand.
I bet a human egg's got so much fucking protein, dude.
More than a placenta?
I don't know. Placenta is probably loaded with protein, to be honest.
Throw that shit in there too, baby.
All right. This leader's convinced that they were sent there to claim this land in his name, and that's a capital his, baby.
Of course, he's a Christian, man.
How do we do that? Asks his buddy. Like, rightfully so. Like, 3 of our men are dead. We got 1 missing pooper. Half of us are starved. The leader hands over a bottle of something.
How are they fucking starved? They got a whole fucking island here to fish and hunt and shit.
Well, they're in fight mode. You can't relax and fish.
It's fish to survive, not fish for pleasure, dude.
I would let my enemies shit. I would not let them fish on my fucking lands, dude.
The leader hands over a bottle of something. We don't know what this is at first. In our right hand, he reluctantly takes a swig. Cut to some slow-mo here. As the rest of the men kind of in a big circle. And the leader just individually starts walking up to each of these dudes. And they all take a shot. Boys, we got some shrooms, baby. One eye has a red vision. Men beating somebody with a club. And the rest of the men, man, they just start tripping out. Each of them has their own little mini trip. One guy is stabbing his own reflection in the water. Multiple dudes are just out in the greenery taking the shit in. One guy, I think it's the leader's son, is just swimming in some mud, minding his own business. When our instigator comes over, presumably, rapes this guy. We see the little boy. He sneaks a little swig of the shroom. He takes the fuck off. One eye, he goes out to this bank and starts building a cairn, I believe it's pronounced, which was little rock towers. I'm sure there's some symbolism in here that I don't quite understand because it takes him a few attempts to get it correct. When I did look this up, it's could be usually used as a prayer altar or a sign of peace and or gratitude.
No, it's that way up the fucking mountain.
Yes. Granola white mountain hipsters have co-opted a Viking prayer altar.
It would have been nice if after all this, all these guys were just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we should not be fighting. Like, let's just fucking do these shrooms all day long.
Well, it's a part of the myth, right? That the berserkers would trip before going in, right?
And committing on godly acts.
Yeah, specifically like the initial berserkers that would go in would just get fucked up, and a part of like why they were seeming so crazy was because of that. Or like Dan said, I guess maybe take the edge off of the brutal things that you're required to do.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do shrooms for like a whole category? Oh, I think we should.
Good luck raping me with my fake butthole.
It'd have to be in person. I can't do shrooms up here solo, dude. I'll go fucking insane.
Start licking that Road Games poster behind you.
Your wife's like, why are you pressure washing the house?
Yeah, what? The carpet.
It's 3 a.m.
Poor Dan would start sorting all of his DVDs by some weird fucked up method.
Mm-hmm.
First by color,
Look,
then by date,
they're in actor alphabetical order.
then by the size of the font, the number of letters in each title. One Eye has another vision. His face up among the clouds. And this is where I wrote that the music is real incredible during this sequence. That guitar riff I truly enjoy. All right. One Eye's a little bit more sober now. He watches as that once missing pooper comes out of the woods, man. He's covered in mud. He's got runes and shit all on him. Cut to the leader asking, or basically telling this dude, like, hey, man, we left you a sword, by the way. Like, fucking chill. You know, you didn't tell anybody you were pooping. You just took off. But we left you a sword, dude, for real. And all this guy says is, he can talk. And he points to One Eye. Oh, he can fucking talk. And he's saying that we're in hell. And One Eye's just staring blankly. And our rapist instigator, he's like, I told you, he fucking brought us here. The boy says they need to leave. They need to go into the forest. And this is where the men start to really think that that One Eye is speaking through the kid. The leader will not hear any of this discussion of leaving. All right, they've raised the cross, and now it's time to raise the sword, which I guess means to turn the sword upside down. Like a business and pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 6 to midnight, boys. Time to fight. The rapist blasphemer, he starts denouncing God, all right? And he blames One Eye for bringing them there instead of the so-called Holy Land. All right. Now, this guy, he attempts to get the drop on One Eye, but One Eye does his sweet dive move, gets this guy, slashes his throat, throws blades at 2 other guys. The leader's like screaming like, no, don't kill these guys. But individually, he just goes over and finishes them off. He ends up decapitating that rapist. Without hesitation, One Eye just heads to the trees. He turns around, looks at the boy, waits for him to initiate that he's following, and he continues. All that are left so far are our muddy pooper, the leader, the right-hand man. Right hand says, we need to follow him. The leader, now heartbroken that his lifelong friend has turned his back, goes in for a hug and fucking pulls a Commodus, stabs this dude. He lets him go. Part 6, the sacrifice.
Dan, did you get a red vision of me stabbing you while we hugged?
I mean, that's anytime I go in for a hug. I know.
You fucking should have, dude.
I gave you a knife too. I'm like,
I know.
Fuck. Just up the ante.
Provided me the weapon to.
I mean, if you're gonna do it with the knife that I gave you, at least.
Right.
Respect, you know.
I'll do that. I'll let you shit and then I'll stab you several times.
We see our leader. He's praying at his sword. Did you guys, what did you guys think of the performances here? So I believe aside from Mads, everybody else is a Scottish actor or more of a UK actor.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Were you expecting to read subtitles knowing that this was a Danish movie?
I kind of already talked about the digital stuff. I think the other thing that would have helped this movie immensely is being in a foreign language. So yeah, if it was like an old version of Scottish, I would have liked that so much more than English.
It's interesting.
I mean, if that's the region they're from, why aren't they speaking that language?
Maybe I just figured Refn, he's coming off of basically doing Bronson, like, basically the same time as this.
Yeah.
So now I guess maybe I didn't expect that.
I thought when I first watched it, I was expecting subtitles. And then about halfway through, I thought, well, with so little dialogue, I wonder if they shot both. And then looking at the names in the credits, I was like, I don't think these dudes are all Danish. I think it's fine. You know, I mean, you're probably trying to tie into a bigger market.
I think like most, well, I don't want to say that. I feel like a lot of Danish people, though, have like a working English, though, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Didn't
bother you?
me at all. No.
It took me out a little bit. I mean,
all right, our leader, he starts talking about the future, the new Jerusalem that he's going to build, about the incoming thousands that will follow, you know, a city, sure. A great city that'll stand for 1,000 years. This guy doesn't even know what the weather situation is. You just got lucky being here in the spring, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our muddy pooper, he just starts fucking laughing at this leader's arrogance. The leader, he goes out to stand in the water, presumably to pray or pee or poop. He's probably like, I won't be caught off guard. I'm going to go out into the water and poop. He gets several arrows in the back. One Eye and the boy, they continue on. Our right-hand man, he's bleeding, but he's trying to keep up as best as he can. More of that kick-ass score. The leader's son, he is also caught back up with our heroes. He's starting to follow. One Eye starts carrying the boy for a little bit eventually. The men rest up on a hilltop. The son of the leader asks if he'll ever be able to forgive his father for bringing him to this place. The right hand says that he came here to beg for forgiveness from his sons. I wasn't there when they died in battle, he says, but it doesn't matter, does it, how I leave? The boy, or maybe One Eye through the boy, says yes. The boy says, oh, this is going to be confusing. The boy says, he says, I'm going to reach the sea. I'm going to build a new boat. Going to go home. Now the son, he asks if One Eye has anything to say about him. The boy responds, you're going to die. Then he's lying. If he's lying, why are you following him? Why did I come here, One Eye? The son asks why he had to go through all this, and One Eye just, as he's done the entire movie, just stares. The boy says nothing, no. The son says he needs to go back to be with his father. Your sons are dead, he says to the right hand. You came here to be with them. Basically just giving him permission. Just die. Quit fighting it. He leaves. One Eye and the boy, they leave. The right hand starts to bleed out. The sound of flies grows louder in the mix here. His face is framed in the sky. And then we get a cool shot of him from behind, and he's sort of glowing from this beam of light from the sky. One Eye and the boy, they make their way back through some green, over some rocky hills, find another body of water. The boy tests it. This is salt water. One Eye smiles. He looks back inland and sees over a dozen native warriors staring them down. One Eye takes the boy by the arm, motioning to stay back. One Eye walks towards the warriors. He drops his weapons. He walks to the center of the group. Did you guys notice that in this shot, while the camera is panning, it's like alternating between the natives, which are frozen, and which are moving. I had to back this up. I don't know if it was like that the guys just weren't moving, but I think it's like an artistic choice that only a handful of them are kind of like choppily moving while some of them are kind of frozen still. One Eye stands stoic. He stands in the middle of this group. He imagines himself wading into some water. He is struck in the head and beaten to death. Now the natives, they leave the boy alone. He looks to the sea, and the sky changes to blue. A light glow around him. We see mist into waves, sky into water. The mist atop the mountains, the rocks below, the bathing pond, a pan across the mountains, and One Eye's face framed in the sky. The end. Valhalla Rising. What the fuck, dude? Back that shit up.
What?
Whoa, dude. Start Valhalla Rising over.
What are you talking about, dude?
I had too many mushrooms, dude.
What the fuck did we watch, man?
Your selection for metal as hell.
All right. Basic thoughts here before we get into trivia, Dan. Basic theories here. Do we think... Go ahead.
On what I just saw?
Yes. What is your interpretation of this? It doesn't have to be correct. I'm not holding you to it. I'm not saying, oh, you're wrong, dude. I just... Do you...
Bones, I haven't been correct in 4 years. So, it doesn't bother me. I guess this is just a simple Viking story on the maybe not going full Viking, I guess. A smaller trip to Valhalla, maybe? I don't know. He's a badass warrior, but he's put in a situation to where he can't fully go full Northman. And I know that that's probably the point of Mr. Refn's movie here. Smaller scale Viking movie, I guess. That's what I'm going for.
Okay. Kron?
I think my ultimate takeaways from this movie are that it's pretty negative towards all the religions represented, which I think was probably Refn's point of view. But I also think, in a sense, it's like you have this guy that's the ultimate badass amongst the Vikings, but whenever they get to the New World, it is definitely like you are out of your element. So almost a kind of like, this is the time where the Vikings end. You know, they have started to explore far enough that they cannot compete anymore. And it's just kind of like the end of that group of people in a way. I think that was my kind of ultimate takeaway from, like, you know, them arriving here and him getting his fucking head caved in. Like, we've clearly seen that he can defeat anybody that he comes up against, but this is a completely different world that he's found himself in. So he's not equipped to survive in that element anymore.
Okay.
Bones?
I was looking at it from two fronts. On the micro level of One Eye, I think it's interesting. I believe I read that it was his idea for the One Eye. that wasn't in the original script. I think he was maybe trying to lean towards, hey, I think there's an Odin element with the foresight and stuff. On a micro level of his story, there may be some interpretation of, he says he's from hell. Kron, you pointing out is he reliving something and trying to go this path a certain way, so it potentially results in the boy being saved, and then that is his way into Valhalla, because very little of his deaths at his hand have not necessarily been maybe honorable, right? He's been like kind of forced into combat and to survive, but is that really honor worthy of getting into Valhalla were you to die in that? I also think it's kind of interesting that because he's able to survive all of these encounters pretty much untouched, it could be that he's on a speed run. He knows how to do this. He's done it countless times. And the other aspect is just the overall interpretation of what I see in the story. And to me, it is arrogance versus nature. The idea that while you think you may have conquered your own little area, be it Scandinavia and then eventually Scotland, like you were getting to, Kron, you cross this mass body of water, you get to another environment, and you are, like you said, out of your element. But he is a pretty much unstoppable badass when he has zero humanity. He does not communicate. He does not react to anything. He is super neutral. His only instinct is to survive, and that's what he's good at. And when he taps into any little humanity, it does result in the boy being saved. But ultimately, these arrogant people who thought that their faith superseded the power and the balance of nature just get absolutely fucking decimated. So one of the reasons I really like it is oftentimes I'll watch stuff, maybe like an art house movie and go, I have zero way in. I have zero connection to this. I don't know what it's trying to say. Oftentimes something like this, it's like The Witch versus Lighthouse. The Lighthouse, I have no way in. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be interpreting, but The Witch feels like there's 10% more and enough for me to buy in, and then I can go for the ride. And I think this really delivers on that, where I feel like on subsequent rewatches, I'll notice little things and I'll start to create my own little narrative. But I think that is why I consider the movie to be pretty successful. I think it 100% justified to say, it's kind of a bummer it leads with all this violence or action, or, it's very engaging up front and then just sort of tapers off. But as I was watching it and I started to realize, like, oh man, he definitely front loaded this, but I'm still really engaged. That was where it was successful for me. I've gone on way too long. Dan, let's get into.
Gentlemen, upon further research, this was released July 16th of 2010 in the United States of America. It was released first in the UK. We did establish that it had a budget of an estimated $4 million, a box office of just over $282K. So not a success.
I feel like how like limited, like, I know we don't have these details, but to me it's like when I see a box office that low, it's like, did this only play in like two theaters in New York and LA and like that was it? Or like, I don't remember this being in theaters,
This was a limited release on the 16th of July, but it also opened up against a little movie called Inception. So
there you go.
That was really the only big movie of the week that week.
That's been a while. Oh, that felt good to get out.
There is only 120 lines of dialogue in this whole film. All right. Mads
80 of them are by the Christian leader guy.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be.
He could have got a lead Oscar nod. Mads did take this lead role thinking it would be quite an easy gig, but he did find that it was physically demanding because of the forbidding Scottish locations that they were filming in.
I mean, I think there's got to be something to that, right? Like if you see lead actor, no lines of dialogue, you got to be like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm gonna, like, this'll be 2 weeks of work and I'll be out of there.
Yeah. And then, it's below freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Some prop guy's got a fire hose wetting some mud, and they're like, all right, here's your trousers.
Yeah.
And you're like,
put this collar on your neck.
I think I'd rather talk.
Some blankets.
Yeah.
He moves fucking great though. He
Mm-hmm.
looks so fucking awesome. Him holding an axe just seems right. I fucking love this guy.
I'm not sure how old this was when I looked it up, but currently Refn's favorite film of his own films. This was the main inspiration for the video game God of War 4 from 2018. Not sure how much that holds up.
I mean, I caught some stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just 4 is with the kid, right?
4 is kind of a soft reboot in a sense. So it is Kratos having absolutely decimated all that is Greek mythology, and is now
he's got the beard and shit.
Yeah. So it is that Kratos, right, over the course of that run, and then he is now in Northern Europe and has a son, and it is a retelling of all of those Nordic myths with him now navigating that and his influence on them. I would say that first game is an absolute must play, whether or not you think it's like multiple plays or not, but
it's good.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the sequel to be free on that service that I pay $20 a month for. Like, fucking give it to me already.
The film was supposed to end with a huge battle scene with One Eye fighting the entire army of the Indians. But Refn, he was given the budget to do all this, but he decided that One Eye should sacrifice himself so that the boy could live on.
When I saw the budget, I decided to not do that insane ending I had thought about.
And he did also write in at the end, an alien spaceship would come and pick up One Eye at the very end, but he decided like that would be too, like, what did he say? The audience would expect that, I guess.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that, and I'm super glad he did not do that.
Did you guys watch
he did have that in there.
Season 2 of Fargo?
No.
Yes. I think it's one of the good ones.
Yeah. Never mind then. I much prefer, having heard that they had planned him fighting the natives, I much more prefer him putting his weapons down. It balances out the fact that he has just absolutely waylaid anybody that's stepped to him.
It's like another budget thing, though, right? I'm sure he just couldn't do that with the budget that he had.
Oh, I thought Dan said he had the money.
He was given the budget to do it, but he decided not to.
Well, hell then. Never mind.
Put more money into the Mist budget.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I got, gentlemen, for research.
Thanks, Dan.
For Valhalla Rising.
This was a tough one. I was kind of nervous that you would go down a rabbit hole if we weren't on a time crunch for next week's records. I thought, I wonder if Dan ends up becoming an expert on Nordic mythology to try to.
I thought about it.
Piece together some of this shit. But
I'll send you the gaming book. I've read, like, it's a really good, just like condensed way to view Norse mythology.
I got into about an hour of it this week.
It's fun.
That's what refreshed like the initial stuff about Odin.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I read it. I mean, it's got to be like 4 or 5 years ago now, but it's a pretty quick read when you start getting into it.
I think you'd really like those Stephen Fry Greek mythology books then.
I'll check it out.
Guys, let's play.
Rate my box.
Dan. I don't know. I think this up and down, I'm just going to go with 3.0 for Dan.
Kron Howard, I'm giving you a 3.0. Bones.
This is just for fun, of course. Kron 3, Dan 4.
All right, guys, I'll go first. I do like this movie. Like, I feel like I'm about to say negative stuff about it, but I do like this movie. I am honestly pretty positive on all of Winding Refn's movies in general. But we kind of mentioned this earlier, like when a guy is giving you 90% of a good movie, the last 10% is going to bother you more than if a guy is giving you 20% of a good movie. And I do think I kind of fall into that here. The biggest bummers I have with this movie are that it is so digital. I feel like there are a ton of digital post effects on it, like all the light beams, and I do feel like at certain points Mickelson's face is like glowing, and I don't understand the reason for a lot of that stuff. And the other big thing is I immensely think this movie would have benefited from being in a foreign language and subtitled. I get that it probably wouldn't have had a big appeal, like even less of an appeal that it did. But I don't know, this thing didn't do gangbusters at the box office to begin with, so you might as well just, make it a little more true to the source at that point. All those negatives being said, I do think Mikkelsen is really good. And the biggest thing that I do like about Winding Refn is that the guy takes chances when he clearly doesn't have enough budget to be doing that stuff in the first place. I would rather see a guy like this swinging for the fences when he doesn't have the money than making a tame, more boring movie. So for as many criticisms as I have on this thing, I do think it's worth checking out, and I think people should watch this, as I would suggest watching most of his filmography. Ultimately, I'm a 3.0 on this movie, but it is worth checking out.
All right, y'all. Valhalla Rising 2009, Nicholas Winding Refn. I think he does a really good job of doing the brooding, silent type of character where you're not going to get a lot of dialogue. Bronson, of course, talks so much. Then you have Drive and you have this where there's just very quiet lead characters. And I think Refn does a good job of putting that to film. I always appreciate a director who could make the setting of his movie a character in the film. I like his filming locations here. I like that everybody's huddled behind rocks to avoid the wind. I think Kron mentioned earlier, sound design in this movie is fucking fantastic. You can hear the padding of the rain. You can hear the leather strap in the what Mads is tied to and stuff like that. I think is really, really good in this movie. We take a slump on that boat ride. I think that could be a little more exciting maybe some more visions. We already have visions. Maybe put Mads into some of that more. And once I read that, like the battle with the natives at the end, I was like, man, I really wish we would have got that. We start off so good with the punches of violence that we see. But I think it's a really good performance by Mads, even though he doesn't fucking speak a word. It's a 3.0 for me as well. It just needs a little bit more. I like I said, that slump. I'm like, the first viewing, I'm like, God, that it slumps so much. And I was like, well, maybe on the second one, I'm missing out on something there. And then when I went back and I was like, I still want to grab my phone and like fuck around on that. I just think it kind of trails off a little bit at the end, but I think he has something here. It looks fucking great. The cinematography is really good. I think everything works up to is great, except for, I don't know, it just takes that slump. And I know it's very minimalistic filmmaking, but I don't know. I feel like he could just push it a little bit more. But yeah, 3.0 for me. Maybe on another watch later on down the road, it'll bump up, but not bad. I mean, not bad.
Guys, I think this is a pretty masterful execution of show, not tell, up until your midpoint. And then it comes back around. It wins me back. So much so that I feel like you could cut a third of the dialogue in the second half of the movie and it would be still pretty successful in its intent. I have to give it benefit of the doubt on some of the decisions that were made. Given the budget, I feel like $5 million or $4 million is seen. I think a lot of the minimalism is a solid choice because it makes the world feel empty. It makes humans seem small. You feel how awful and harsh it would be to live in these environments, how terrifying it would be to be on the open sea and have no idea where you're going. How terrifying it is when they arrive at their destination is all successful to me. I do agree with Kron that if you put some old school Werner Herzog style guerrilla actual film on this, would this thing feel a little bit more raw? But given the era that we're in, I think it looks great. I think it feels loose while still feeling contained. None of the shots seem so overly thought out. I mean, I'm guessing 90% of this thing is fucking Steadicam. And it's not shaky. It's concise. You understand. This thing is audacious and it's ballsy without being up its own ass. And whenever I'm watching a quote unquote art house type of movie, I always have that against me because you have this, you're trying to spin the plate of free or what can we do on the cheap, but also say something on the matter of saying something. This really connected with me. I feel like I'm 80% there. Given that I'm 80% there, I'm a solid 4.0 on this. I feel like with maybe a little nudge more in, like I was saying, there's a lot of ways to interpret this. A little bit more tightening, perhaps with not necessarily his backstory, but to sit here and say, oh, if you had a few more visions. Not to insult you, Dan, just using that as an example. Could I see myself going at a 4.5? Honestly, yeah. I think this is my favorite Refn that I've seen. I think I have Drive at a 4 because that is just Drive to me is a vibe movie. Anybody that says vibe, Drive is 90% vibe, right? I mean, how many fucking dudes went out and bought a Scorpion jacket? And there's very little fucking driving in the movie. This at least has more murder than that has driving. But I'm going on here. I really enjoy this movie. I think this is absolutely a movie probably ruined by commercials. I think if you can just sit there on a dark night and you're not necessarily sleepy, because this thing could absolutely put you to fucking sleep when you get to the boat, but if you just let it happen. I was in the right headspace when I watched this, not quite in berserker mode, if you catch my drift, but I really like it. I hope people watch it. It's a tough one to try to do justice on this fucking Crash show, but yeah, I'm a 4.0.
All right, guys. Valhalla Rising would have an average score from the three of us of 3.33,
which
pretty damn close to the Letterboxd average of 3.30. This would end up at number 55 on our big list. This would currently be right below Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and right above Hannibal.
Dan, enjoy your point. Kron, 0.5.
Let's put these in real quick. 0.5 and 1. Bones. Oh, shit. Actually, this is crazy. Maybe first time ever. Dan, you are leading the pack with a 2.0.
Whoa.
Bones and I are tied with a 1.5. Mount Molehill, currently a 0.5 on the big board.
Hell yeah.
Guys, that was Valhalla Rising, our first in Metal as Hell. I hope you guys are excited about this category. And speaking of which, we will come back on the other side in the after showers. We got to wash this mud off of us. Dan's giving us the thumbs up. He's excited to reveal next week's pick during the after showers. But until then, Dan, get us the fuck out of here.
Yo, if you're on Spotify or Apple, please rate, review, and follow the show. It helps us with our goal of world domination. You can follow us on the socials at Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd. But if you really want to fuck with us, there is a link to our Discord on every new episode of 5 Day Rentals that drops every Wednesday. Join that, and you can chat along with us and all of our good buddies that love and join in on the show. But other than that, Valhalla forever.
We have many gods. They have one.
They fucking eat their god, dude. It's fucking gross, right?
Gross. Welcome everybody back to 5 Day Rentals. We're on the after shower show here. Bones just took us through a goddamn Viking metal fucking Valhalla Rising from 2009, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. You might recognize him, but thank you. Thank you for the category. Metal as hell.
Guys, it's still metal as hell to eat my banana bread in the shower. Okay, whether or not, I mean, to I don't know what about that seemed
Well, you're
soft
you're still
and beta to you, but it was pretty hardcore to like, had a full
Yeah,
loaf in there.
you're still wearing the apron that you baked it in. It just seems.
I'm just looking at Kron's 3 butt cracks. This is weird.
Well, once I knew one of us had 2, I was not going to be one-upped. 2 in the back, 1 in the front.
Nice hair on the back of those as well.
Mm-hmm. It took some work.
You probably could have glued that merkin down. You didn't necessarily need to staple it.
Mm-mm. Authentic.
Yeah.
The blood makes it real.
Dan, I think the one without staples is his real asshole.
Probably.
Yeah.
You'd be wrong, dude.
I think we just got to go center and we'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of work done back there.
Not that we want to.
Dan, I am itching to know what you and Kron pick for this category.
Me and Kron. Kron wasn't involved in any of this.
I didn't mean the
Well-
tag team of your selection. I mean each of your individual selections.
Kron, what were you saying?
Oh, just that, I will have to pick a movie after you, so I will be involved in this.
Yeah, but you weren't involved in my pick.
Not at all.
All right, gentlemen. We recently had our last category was
Say it the right way.
Revenge 5, The Revenge of Puppet Revenge / New Moon.
Thank you. Respect the category.
Respect. Thank you, Kron, for the category. And Bones brought a 1940 pick of Pinocchio to the show, which was animated. And I think that opened up a door for our show, which is a good thing, I believe. I will tell you there is an animation category in my season 2 as well. I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain here of Oz. I'm Oz. I'm the guy that pulls the strings and stuff, you know.
Wasn't he kind of like a useless,
Let's not talk
like
about
charlatan?
how he just stop. Okay, I'm God. Okay, leave me alone. So Bones came up with the category of metal as hell, which I also had kind of a same category as that, but I nixed that, and now this is Bones's. So I had a good idea from the start here of what I was going to do. I did some research and found a little more goofier stuff that I was like, maybe it doesn't seem like I'm taking the category that seriously if I pick that movie. So I did come back to my original thought on a film from 1981, directed by multiple directors. And Valhalla Rising was very serious, very doom metal fucking epic. And I figured, why don't we bring back some space travel? Why don't we bring back a deadly orb? And why don't we bring back some titties? So from 1981, gentlemen, we are going to be doing heavy metal. It's a movie that I've always had on my list for this show, and I think this is the perfect time to release that upon you. I noticed nobody has logged it on Letterboxd, and I will provide a copy for you because it is not streaming anywhere.
Bones?
Bones?
When are we going to stop doing that?
What?
Doing what?
When are we going to stop picking stuff that's not accessible for people to oh, they're doing this show next week. Let me boot up.
Our fan base has more of this than we do.
I know, but okay.
That's up to them.
That's a different conversation. I'm very excited to revisit heavy metal from 1981.
Shouldn't have to curtail my picks to what's streaming. That's the whole point of owning physical media.
Okay.
We're all very well rounded here on this show.
You're right. You're
Bones,
right.
I hate to break your heart, but the pick after this isn't going to be any more accessible than what Dan just selected.
You've seen Heavy Metal, Bones?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Kron?
I've definitely seen parts of this. I don't know if I've watched it all the way through. But I have seen at least the first segment of it, I think. So I'm excited to watch it, in completion.
Yeah, right on. I think this was a very hangout rental for my buds back in the days of rentals. We would always rent this and just throw it on and just be like, oh shit, check out that, So it's been always on my list to bring to the show. So what better than a heavy metal category to do heavy metal?
Yeah.
It's right there in the title.
So my memory of this is like a reissue at some point in the 90s. And there was, it was like a Chrome VHS that was like remastered in THX and shit that my,
I think I remember that.
A friend's dad, I pulled up a photo.
Yes.
A friend's dad had, and it was like he had to jump through hoops to ask his dad to let him like leave the house with it to come over and watch it. And it was like a big deal. Like we were so stoked.
I think that was the version that we would always rent from our local exchange there.
Yeah.
So
it was a magazine too, right?
Yeah,
like that's what it started as. Yeah.
Yeah.
Comic started out as. So kind of going back to Pinocchio as well, French origins there.
Yeah, the comic was way more violent and chaotic than the movie.
Killer soundtrack as well. On both, I believe, Heavy Metal 2000 as well. Also linked to Mr. David Fincher as well, who wanted to do a live version, I believe. So.
Well, he did that fucking robot thing on Netflix, right? Love and Robots. Yeah. Was that his kind of... I don't think I watched it, but
I hear good things.
Yeah.
But
particularly the thing that the one that he directed, I've heard good things. Well, hell yeah, man.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you guys are excited. I thought maybe Kron would be a little mad, but
No, I'm just mad when people don't pick good puppet movies.
Oh god damn it, we're out of that category.
My memory of it is that it might be even like more gnarly to try to wrap our heads around than Valhalla Rising.
Yeah, we got about I think 5 different stories here. So I think it'd be nice to maybe pick our favorites and go through that.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be riveting. As Dan explains, a floating orb then enters as the woman strips and slowly walks into a giant bathing pool.
That's hot as hell, dude.
I want to walk around here with my dork out.
World War II bombers.
Zombies.
Yeah. Classic
Robot
South Park
sex.
episode based around.
I've been meaning to look that back up and rewatch that one. So
Did they do like a riff on heavy metal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the cat piss
It's like-
episode where basically everybody's getting high off cat piss, and Kenny specifically.
Oh, I kind of remember that now. Yeah.
it's like season 5 or 6.
Because they like
maybe?
switched up their whole animation style for it.
Yeah, it's got the because I think Kyle's dad also starts getting addicted to the cat piss, and he subsequently starts streaming in the heavy metal world, and him and Kenny are battling. And I recall, there's the great line where like the old dude's like, "Go forth and lather my daughter's awesome rocking tits with soapy suds." Yeah. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Kron, this is going to be a great one for you to watch and your wife walk by.
Sure.
I did think about that whenever I was watching it last week. I was like, oh, she's going to be like, look at this titty movie he's watching.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good like other end of the spectrum pick, Dan. So this leaves Kron pretty wide open.
I did have a few others in mind, and then, like I said, once you hit Valhalla Rising, I was like, all right, maybe I need to even it out a little.
It's one of those categories we could very easily do new metal as hell, right?
Oh, yeah.
And do a sequel too. So, fuck yeah, man. Thanks.
So I think we're on a good metal trip right now. So we'll see what Kron does.
Put our devil horns up.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hail Satan.
Hail
Satan. Oh, shit.
Whoa. Did you knew that did that?
Yeah. You like that?
That one was badass.
Yeah.
Stupid
Crash and
Apple
burn.
effects. Crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
DMX pretty metal, dude.
DMX was
is
wild,
fucking
dude.
metal, dude.